Minecraft has a problem, but I'm not sure if it's a problem that really needs to be fixed. The problem is that for new players, Minecraft is a very hard game, and even for people who play other video games, still find this game difficult to get into if they've never played it before. Most games, when you hit the start game button, there is a tutorial and it teaches you game mechanics or the main gameplay loop, but Minecraft doesn't do this at all. But the problem is that it's also the lure of the game. Part of Minecraft's charm is learning the game's mechanics and learning how to get good at Minecraft, or just ignoring everything and just doing what you want to do. One problem I'm having is that I'm not at 1,000 subscribers yet, so please like and subscribe to the video and the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be doing a Q&A video if you're interested. Now, I'm not saying that they should add a tutorial to Minecraft, because I feel like adding a tutorial would take away a lot of the charm of that new game experience. But what I think they should do, and what they hope they do eventually, is they need to expand on a feature that they've had for a very long time that was supposed to be a mechanic to teach people how to play Minecraft subtly and not have to worry about building a new world for a tutorial world or anything like that. The advancement system is an amazing way to let new players who want direction and instructions to have it, but not be super intrusive to other people who don't want that experience. So there isn't going to be tutorial pop-ups happening telling you to do stuff. Instead, the advancement system is basically achievements that help you get along your way. But the problem is that the system as it is right now is very messy and I think poorly organized, because it just doesn't really make sense. The first few advancements in this system are totally fine, but the more you get into the advancements, the weirder it gets, and it feels like they kind of lost what they were trying to do. For instance, the very first few, it says to get a wood pickaxe, stone pickaxe, and then it tells you to smelt iron, which, even though it's not directly telling you to look for iron, is a clever way to say, hey, you need to find iron. Those first ones are totally fine, even though there are some nitpicky things I can't talk about by that, and we'll get to that. But the main thing is that it works. Once we get to the branching paths, it gets really weird. The first path is actually fine. It's the iron armor and shield, which are really good, especially for new players, because better armor means you'll die less. But the problem is that the other paths don't really tell you how to do what they are. The achievement for getting lava doesn't tell you how to build a bucket, or it shows the icon for lava in a bucket, so that's actually pretty good. But the problem is that it then tells you to get obsidian with that bucket. There is no way, as a new player, you would know how to get obsidian. And on top of that problem, the one below it, it doesn't tell you to make a diamond pickaxe, which for players who do know, you need a diamond pickaxe to be able to mine obsidian. But it tells you to build diamond armor instead, which is really weird. I personally feel like the diamond armor is the biggest problem in here, because the diamond pickaxe is like the thing in Minecraft that you need, and it starts all the things that you want starts with the diamond pickaxe, but it tells you to make diamond armor instead, which is more expensive, and for a new player, getting diamonds is really hard. So potentially spending your first 8 diamonds to make a diamond chestplate when what you really want is 3 diamonds to make a pickaxe feels weird, and I don't really understand why they haven't done this. Speaking of being the most important tool, why doesn't these advancements tell you to build other tools? The biggest one, in my opinion, though, is the sword. Why doesn't this tell you to build a sword? As a new player, they should be told to build a defensive way other than armor, because armor is like, you're going to take hits, that's fine, but you need to be a way to actively protect yourself. And it, for some reason, doesn't tell you to build a sword. Now, the naming of the actual advancements, there's a lot of jokes and memes about it, but that's totally fine. And I think that's really funny, that they should add some in-jokes, so then players can finally, when you're a new player and you get into it, and then you understand what that actually means, that's pretty funny. The main thing I would change is, first of all, the first advancement doesn't actually tell you to punch wood. It should just tell you to punch wood, because that's the thing. And you can even make a joke about it, but you gotta punch wood. And once you get to the part where you need to make a stone pickaxe, there should be an advancement for every tool, I feel like, just to make it easier, because you're going to get every tool eventually anyway for a new player. Maybe not the hoe, but all the other tools should be there. along with the extra tools for the advancement system, it really should be also telling you to build a crafting table, which is something as a veteran player that like it's very no duh. Thinking at like a new player, you really should tell the player to build a crafting table in between the wood, punching the trees, and getting the pickaxe. Because how is you going to build the pickaxe? You need to build a crafting table. So that one is kind of a extra advancement as well. So it is adding a new one, but I do really think it is needed because sometimes I can see new players just not understanding why they can't build a wooden pickaxe. And then once you get to the sword, when you build a sword, that can branch off to kill animals for food. And then you can do that for wool. So you can tell the player, the new player, to build a bed, because another biggest problem I have seen when seeing new people who have never played Minecraft play Minecraft is they get incredibly frustrated dying and then having to start a spawn again because it doesn't tell you how to set your spawn. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying there needs to be a tutorial telling you this, but the advancement system is a very cool way to do this, telling players, hey, if you do this, you do this, you do this, and you get this advancement, you get achievements. Doing achievements will help players do it. And there's always the advancements start at the very top right of the screen anyway. So having that teach the player at least some basics of survival, I think would be amazing. Now, like I said, I don't want this to go too in depth. So once you get to that, once after that, I feel like the advancements should become just the advancement system the way it is, like achievements, cool things to do, cool stuff. But like the first 12 is just a tutorial how to play the game, but it's not straight up in your face. It's not, there isn't a text box and someone telling you over a radio telling you what to do. If people see it and they do follow it, that's great. And if people ignore it and constantly run into a wall and die over and over again, that's Minecraft. And I don't think that should change, but I think the actual tab in Minecraft should be slightly more like a tutorial than it already is. Speaking of killing animals and hunting stuff for food, another problem is the combat. Minecraft's combat is honestly bad, but Minecraft's combat has never been good. The problem is very specific, and that's only in Java Edition, because Java Edition has the timed-based sword swing combat. Minecraft doesn't need a complex RPG stat-based combat system with mechanics and combos and stuff. I'm not saying that. And the sword sweep itself is really fun. But the problem is that every time I see a new person who has never played Minecraft before, they see a zombie, they immediately start spamming the button. They immediately start spamming and do no damage and die. Because it's counterintuitive and there's very little feedback of how much damage you're actually doing unless you know that you need to wait for your sword to basically charge. The weirdest thing about this problem is that this problem is a very specific to Java Edition, and it's already been fixed technically because a long time ago Mojang were working on an update called the Combat Update, where they turned it basically into it's still the charge system. It had a longer cooldown, and but the spam attacks did full damage. So it was similar to that, and I don't know why they never put that update out, because I feel like that update would help so many people. And honestly, even though the sword swing sweep attack is fun and stuff like that, it feels really weird, even in the game as a veteran player myself. It feels weird that like the game doesn't want you just to spam, and there's so many fast enemies. The more enemies they put in, the weirder the combat feels. And with the jump crits too, it feels weird. And I feel like there needs to be a little bit more than just a small update. Like I feel like the crit system kind of just needs to be redone. The jumping crits feels weird and it's kind of counterintuitive, but I also don't want a crit based RPG. Like I don't want RPG stats, but then again, there are stats on the swords anyway. So, and maybe a crit stat wouldn't be bad, just a random crit stat. That one I'm not entirely sure on how to solve, but at least I would say to put back the spam combat, because it just feels weird. And if you even want to put some complexity to it, you can make the sweep attack an enchantment, and then people can say, do you want a sweeping sword or a flame sword? But that one, once again, I'm not as confident on, and I do feel like the biggest thing is just to add the spam back, the spamming combat back, and then do something with the sweep attack. Because I don't want you to get rid of the sweep attack. I think it's really cool. But especially for new players and even veteran players like myself, it feels awkward to fight. And I feel like we've gotten to the point where I feel that it is necessary to revert the changes back. It was an interesting change, but I think overall it doesn't really work, especially when they tried to do the diversity of the axe versus the sword. Literally no one uses the axe. It isn't very useful in regular Minecraft. Technically in PvP it's pretty good because you can get rid of shields, but when you're talking about regular Minecraft, the thing that most people experience, you're building a sword and the sword just feels slightly awkward to use. The combat probably is one of the easier ones to fix because once again they were actively working on it before. The next problem that I have is a very simple one, and I think it's very easy to do because I'm pretty sure this is the case, and I've tested it out myself, and I'm pretty sure it's off, and it's to have the green book when you open the crafting table to be on. The green book icon in the crafting table UI is actually incredibly useful, but the problem is it's off by default, and I feel like it's weird, and I feel like it should be on by default for anyone that's new. And even for me as a veteran player, I forget how to build things all the time, and the green book is an amazing tool, but for some reason it's off by default, and it should be on just for new players, and that's an easy switch. I feel like that's an easy fix because you could just switch it on because it should be on by default for everyone, and if people can complain, then just have it in the options menu to turn it off, because I feel like that green book is an amazing tool which a lot of new players never know about because they say, how do I build this? How do I build that? And while it is true that Minecraft is one of those games where you kind of need a wiki open beside you, the green book helps a lot of things because when you get a block, it tells you all the recipes that you can know for it, and it's really useful. And I feel like that should be on by default. Now, overall, Minecraft is an amazing game, and I love Minecraft. But that doesn't mean we can't try to make it better for people who've never played Minecraft. And I feel like these three things can help a new player a lot with the reworking of the advancement system or small adjustments to the advancement system, because I do feel like the other parts of the advancement system are very fun, and seeing people try to do all the things in the advancement system is very fun, but I do think the Minecraft tab of that advancement system should be more of a tutorial. A reworking of the combat so spam clicking works again, and in Java Edition specifically, which is a Java specific problem, I understand, but I do feel like it needs to be put back to this span system, because if we want to update the combat, I agree, maybe they should look at it and see what works, but I do feel like the baseline of the combat should be the spam click. After that, Mojang can figure out what they want to be more in depth, but I feel like the spam click should be back for Java. And it's honestly, it'll be easier to make cool things because then you won't have to worry about two different combat systems for the game. And lastly, the just having the book icon on by default, which I'm almost positive isn't. I've tested it and I've tried to see it, and I'm pretty sure it's off by default. So that one is, I'm very confident that that is true. So I want them just to have it switched to be on by default, and in the options menu, if you don't want it to always be on, just have it say, hey, when I start a new world, have this off. It could be like an accessibility feature or something like that. But those three things are the main three things that I think need to be fixed. Or those are the three main things that I think will help newer players not make it seem Minecraft is an impossible game at the very beginning. Because Minecraft can eventually, when you play hundreds and hundreds, or when you play dozens of hours, it becomes a very easy game in my opinion. But it also is a very unique game, and there's nothing like it, which is one of the reasons why it's so good and so popular. But if someone has never played Minecraft before, I don't think Minecraft the game should be punishing them for it. Thank you everyone for watching this video on Minecraft and its problems. If you'd like to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'd really appreciate the help and support. We're doing a Q&A video at 1,000 once we hit that, so I'd appreciate it if you get to that. We get to that and help it out. If you'd like to follow me on other places, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and a Threads, and a Blue Sky if you'd like to follow me in any of those places. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye, everyone.